It's a colorful foresight where we intuitively connect from within. And it's woo woo time where we connect our woo woo into our mundane living. It's woo woo time. Now, I'm Silvia, Colorful Foresight, and we have Colleen of the Cool Crone. Awesome. Today's topic pretty fun. It's about revealing the union, the divine feminine, divine masculine. So this actually been inspired by something that Colleen created about last month or a
Yeah.
month and a half ago called Revealing the Future. And I think every 2 weeks so they have a specific topic. I'll let her explain. Tell me how that came about.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in designing your own life, designing your own future. And I've always done visualizations, way before anybody even called it law of attraction or manifesting your life or whatever. I've always felt like if you're a positive person, if you operate from love, then you can do anything you want in life. And when you get a group of people together who also operate from love, they can create anything that they want. So I realized that, we have all these psychics here on YouTube. We should get people together who have strong energy from their brains, from their minds, and we should use that energy for good to create something really good. So we every couple of weeks we pick a different topic. I get a couple of psychics on. We talk about what would it be like if it was perfect, if life was perfect. And once we get kind of a little idea of how we want things to be perfect, then I do a visualization. It's really a meditation kind of thing, but heavy on the visuals so that people can really focus on that very positive thing. And
Yeah.
because if you're just sitting by yourself, you might not really jump to that really wild visualization. Like at one point, we were talking about teleportation and communicating telepathically. And if you're just sitting by yourself in your room and thinking, how would I like my life to be? Well, I'd like to make more money and have a better car. Well, duh. I think almost everybody wants that drives, right? Everybody wants that. But what about if you could go way beyond that and have just a life where you didn't even need a car? You're just going to teleport. You didn't even need to talk to people. You could just communicate telepathically. That's powerful. Like that's going way beyond. And that's what I wanted to do with these psychics. So that's what I'm doing.
So this is what it's a little bit of inspiration. It's not going to be totally like it, but I was like, let's work on relationship relationship between men and women, right? Or it doesn't have to be men and women. That's why I put divine feminine, divine masculine,
Mm-hmm.
because our body we have hormones that are estrogen and progesterone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have both. So I would like from you who are watching, while it's live or even after under Colleen channel or under mine, put in your vision of what a divine union is with you. Even though we're imagining, it's not really that much of imagination. It's actually true. And not only is it possible because this is a time where we're in a planetary, and I'm not a hi Dina, I'm not a astrologer, but I know this. Where the Aquarian age are here, the golden age are aiming to come here. So these things are possible. Colleen is not just a believer or something. She's picking that up. That is something that is important to do. So you want to describe a little bit what you do as far as like your work and things, just briefly?
Sure. So I'm an astrologer. I'm also a reader, a card reader. I do a lot of different things to get to use for divination, a little bit of channeling. I get messages from my guides. I wouldn't call myself a medium, but I have done some mediumship work, mainly cards, mainly astrology, but a lot of other little things around the edges. And I try to help people.
Yeah. And my channel is like everything that's intuitive in nature
Mm-hmm.
because I want people to get that everybody has it. You're born with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people may work at it or they may seem a little more because maybe in their life path or anything like that. But for the most part, take that stigma out. That's why it's like bringing the woo woo into the mundane living. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let you know, Colleen, we even have a person from Australia. So she's going to be visualizing with us.
Wow, that's great.
Love and relationship coach. So this is universal.
Yeah,
So at
that's
the start, I was thinking, let's shuffle some cards. Uh, oh, when I did she invited me to one of her um, revealing the future video, and it was about war. So we were visualizing what it would be like without the war. So that's the opposite. And part of that visualization came to me, which will continue to this one, is that without war, that means people are enlightenment. Everybody's enlightenment. It's not just a few or whatever. It's like, so you're in a certain vibe. And Colleen and I were talking about what is the difference between 3D and 5D. That's definitely 5D and up in enlightenment.
mhm.
And it is actually doable because of where we're heading to the planetary. Also, I remember saying that because we're enlightenment, we're more in tune. So if we're more in tune, that means the relationship between people would be more in tune, including the feminine and masculine, however that plays out, because it's so fluid at the time. So I figured. So if you have anything you want to share with us, please share with us in the comment, and we'll try to read it. So, what does the divine union look like? We're going to ask our spirit guide with the collective. It's for the collective. So it's all about you that are watching. So, my friend in Australia, what do you feel the divine union's about? Like in the world of enlightenment, you know you who you are. You know what's interesting? I got the Queen of Swords. After you seen like the Nine of Cup, which is like the worry card,
Mm,
you got people who can't see,
mm,
and you got people who are disappointed. But in the world of enlightenment, because this is where we're visioning, we're in a world of enlightenment. So that means people could see very clearly. They could cut through all the veil, all the BS, um, all the things that are untrue. So that's part of what comes with the divine union. We are able to see very clearly. And it doesn't mean like things we don't have challenges, but because we have a more higher awareness or seeing, um, all that drama is much less, or it doesn't have us as much, or we get like in a situation, but we're able to solve it quickly. So that would be like that in a relationship. It would be more divine. And it's not always like unicorn, but it's like you have a little tiff, but then because you're able to see a certain way, or you're in that 5D energy, you're more in the heart energy, it would be resolved much quicker. What do you feel, Colleen?
So I pulled some cards and I got that right now we are really trapped. A lot of people are trapped, not everybody, but we are trapped and we're struggling with it. We feel like there's a lot of pressure to remain quote normal.
Yeah.
Tremendous pressure to just be normal. Don't be weird, just be normal. But that traps us because really what is normal? You know,
Yeah.
what is the yardstick for normal? I mean, my normal is way different than somebody, say, who was raised in a um, very religious household, say, in the middle of the country, like in Iowa or something, just really different. So normal for me might be very different to them. But we are also in a period where people are working together really, really diligently to bring about this enlightenment. There's a lot of us who are really working towards it and maybe not even calling it work, maybe not even realizing they're working with their guides, they're learning to meditate, they're learning to go within, they're learning to be gentler with themselves, they're learning healing modalities, they're sharing those modalities with people. So there's all sorts of people really working at raising their own vibration and raising the vibration of people around them. And this is bringing about a tremendous amount of cooperation and union. So one right after the other, I got the Lovers and then the Two of Cups. And
Wow.
that's just like, yeah, talk about union, talk about cooperation and love and trust. And that's where we want to go with stuff. And there's going to be some difficulties along the way because there's going to be backlash, which is what I think we're experiencing now. There's so much backlash. It seems like it's directed towards certain groups like women, like LGBTQ, like people of color, which is code for immigrants. You know, like, there's so much backlash against these people, but really that holds us all back. So, there's a saying, as the tide comes in, all boats will rise, right? We all need to rise. We all need to ride that tide and rise. And it's a choice. You're either going to go with that flow, because that is coming. I don't think there's any turning it back now. It is, we will go to 5D. We will see the majority of humanity raise their vibration, become enlightened, embrace their divine feminine and their divine masculine, and things will change. Governments will change. Banking will change. That's a big one because banking controls us so much.
Well, think about it, the ripple effect. So that's how
Yeah.
it's possible. Remember, in a world of enlightenment, in a world of 5D, which is possible, not like it where we're heading planetarily.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
Um, it would just be a happening, as they say in my organization I belong. It just start happening. It is happening still, but we need to see it more in our life. After this video, you're gonna start witnessing more because you're watching this. That means you're in that vibe. By the way, Cool Crone, you know how to like block somebody? If that's your guest, the fun boy, just block them.
Oh, let me go over to my channel really quick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
guys. Just take.
So that's really nice. What are you guys that are in the comment watching? What do you feel as far as like the relationship between men and women in a divine union? Remember, we're focusing on being in enlightenment. We are in enlightenment phase and we are in 5D. So don't go into like the gutter. So here, speaking of the gutter, we have the devil. So what happened is with the devil, meaning like trauma, toxic relationship, because we are talking about relationship, you know, control and things like that. The will force in coming to remove all that or to transmute, uh, in divine union, you're able to transmute. You see that in really great relationships sometimes. They're able to work it through. So that's going to be more common in the world of divine union that we're speaking of.
Mhm.
And I got the three of sword and the four of pentacle. So what I'm thinking is people are going to be able to nurture their heart better. They're going to know how to nurture their heart. They're not going to get hooked. You know how we have that ability to get hooked. Energetically, you hear that you get hooked by the other person. I
Mhm.
feel like in the world of 5D, in the world of enlightenment, that specific energy that we're in, we're gonna know how to protect our energy better.
Mhm. Mhm.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah, because we're gonna also love ourselves better and have
Right.
better boundaries. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how you protect yourself. It's that boundary. You just don't cross that boundary. You don't let others cross that boundary. It's like, little kids on a playground that have personal space. Can still play and have fun, but just don't come in my personal space.
Yeah, exactly. And what so so what is like in the world of being in the divine union? What are you seeing? Like talk in the comment, let us know. Because you're part of creating with Colleen and I.
Mhm.
What did that look like? The opposite of toxic relationship. What is the opposite? And what it's like to be in a divine union. I would imagine you guys have meditated or been in a good mood. When you're in a good mood or you're having a good day, you notice that what might have triggered you if you were in a bad mood doesn't trigger you as much
Mhm.
when you're in a better mood. You kind of let it slide, or you know, you're not caught up in your monkey mind, so you're able to see. So imagine being like that more
Mhm.
and flow like that, where you're able to see quickly and resolve it. So that's what came to me.
Yeah, and I think to just give a 3D example to help people get there too, it's very similar to when you're hungry. you just don't feel like cooking, or you go into a grocery store and grab everything off the shelf. You're just like feeling, cranky, and like it's just not worth it. And then when you're full, everything's fine. Everything feels good,
Once
right?
you have that Snicker bar, no.
Yeah, right. But if you're full of love, then
Mm.
things don't bother you. When you're running on empty, when your tank has not enough love in it, then things bug you. You get defensive. And
And
so go
that
ahead.
kind of makes sense with the message I've been getting at the predictive for 2023 and 2024, because one of the things we're getting caught up is the chaos that we're seeing in the news. It's not just in the USA, but around the world. So what happened is the message I got, they want us to nurture the love vibe. I know Shari been hearing me say that. Some of you been hearing me say that.
Mhm,
Not just about love, but it kind of like if we keep nurturing the negative news or like the worry, there's no balance. There's no balance. So whatever that opposite of the divine love would, when I know when I'm pissed off and I'm on that roll, it's hard to get off of it. I'm pissed.
mhm,
And something had to get in the way for me to either walk away or I already said something that's damaging or
mhm,
whatever. That's the energy they want to go into. So like the devil, we want to turn that wheel and
mhm,
nurture, but we're not going to just do like positive thinking and like spiritual bypassing and doing all pretending, or even what that phrase they use, that you fake it till you make it. We're
mhm.
actually talking about things that is possible and it is happening. We just got to nurture it and remember it. Hi, Clarence Field and Margot.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
So,
think it all goes back to just having your tank real filled up on love, because when you are feeling defensive, or you get angry and you feel like somebody dissed you, that essentially crossed a boundary for you. And if you're not feeling 100% loving, then you're not going to stop until you feel vindicated, until you feel like you got justice. And the thing is that you can give your own justice. You can make yourself feel good all the time by having that boundary, by not caring what people think, what they're saying to you. It doesn't matter. If it's not in that loving vibration, who cares what they're saying? It's
yeah.
it, it's just not it doesn't have to be in your world. It just doesn't have to be there. So,
So Dan for Andrew, who's from Australia, that I'm wondering how we look at making mistakes differently, right? Now
mhm,
people make a big deal of mistakes and then no forgiveness or just acceptance. I hope you don't mind me sharing this with Angela, but she's in a relationship, and because she focusing on a better energy, the certain kind of meditation to doing that
mhm,
that is utilized with happiness meditation, causes love meditation. It's also oneness. She noticed that any iffiness she had is not an issue. It's not an issue. Not that it doesn't, you don't have argument or anything like that, but it's kind of like that. Like it becomes a non-issue. It's kind of like I was sharing behind the scene, like let's say I have a physical, like I'm like, oh my God, I have to look a certain way and
mhm.
all that. I'm in my 3D mind and I'm in my monkey mind. But when I'm in a better vibe, it doesn't bother me as much. And if I was like nurturing that energy, I would attract a partner because I have the delusion until I'm a certain way. Then, and you know how many years have been I'm waiting for that certain way? So
Yes,
what I do, I
probably
wait
as
for
long as I
time.
have. Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, that's just it's true. So let's see what Susan said. Okay. Hi, Tipsy Tea Leaf Oracle from Canada. So we got American, we got Australian, we got Canadians.
Nice. Nice.
It
That's
said the
great.
divine union is about everybody in the world. So Susan said the better you care for yourself and nurture your own love within yourself, the more you're able to give to others.
So true. Yeah, so true. That's right. And the easier it is for you to let things just roll off your back,
Yeah.
you don't let it bother you.
So if we were doing your revealing the future, how would
Mhm.
you be approaching, or how would you been approaching the idea about the divine feminine, divine masculine? What would
Well,
you be doing?
well, one of the things that I've just noticed is not going directly at the divine feminine, divine masculine, but I've just noticed that people in general have been evolving, I guess. They've been developing their gifts. They've been really spending much more time in meditation and bringing forward their own messages for development in their own spiritual journey. They've been just much more feeling into themselves. And that does develop your own personal divine feminine. That does give you power in your own feminine energy, whether you're male or female or what, however you identify. That going within, the female is always described in the world of, I don't know, alchemy, as a void. The female is the void, the black, the dark, the what is the opposite of light. And the male energy, the solar energy, is the light, the bright, the aggressive, the assertive, the going forward. And so when you take time to go within, you're going into the darkness. So you're going into the yin, the divine feminine. And so many more people are doing that. I mean, I see it in my readings. I see people that are saying, well, when I was meditating, I got this, and this. And they're not coming for readings and saying, can you contact my Aunt Betty? She left me this, uh, all this cash and it's all in an envelope and she hid it somewhere. Can you tell me where it's hidden? They're not coming for those kinds of readings. They're coming to me and saying, can you give me a reading on my Akashic records? Or can you give me a past life reading? Or can you connect me to my ascended masters? I'm like, wow, that's a whole different category of readings, than it used to be. It's really different. And I think people are just raising up. And so they come to you with a much different energy. So I'm able to just spend a lot of time. I'm very fortunate to be able to spend time kind of sitting in that sea of energy that feels very, very much to me like divine feminine.
Wow.
It's easy, it's nurturing, it's intuitive. Sometimes it's dark and gooey, but it's very feminine, it's very liquid feeling. And I really like it. And then I'll get a client that's just like, you know, hey, my son's being an idiot and says he doesn't want to go to college. Can you do a reading? Like, it'll be a very 3D thing. But in general,
Typically,
go ahead.
um, typically tea leaf oracles that you noticed that as well. What
Yeah,
you're
I saw
saying.
her I saw her comment. Yeah, it's really shifting, it's really changing, and it's not in a big, showy, dramatic way, which would be divine masculine. Hello. The assertive, the yang, the solar energy, it's divine feminine. So and I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make. Oh, the divine feminine's coming, get ready. No, it's not like a sale at Walmart. It's like that is not what the divine feminine is about. You're going to feel the divine feminine coming to you. You're not going to see it. You're going to feel it. And
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you're saying that because we're having these changes, sometimes it's changes that we're not familiar with. So people feel a little lost because it's just a very temporary thing because it's so much change that's going on. Even
Mhm.
shy woman that she's going through a lot and she don't know, what her purpose is here. Dance with Angela also lost a friend besides Dina. It's like a death within her. And also, so there's a lot of death, which is interesting because the card I got is the death, rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I got the sixth uh, store. That means it's gonna pass through. You know what that
Yeah.
expression, this too shall pass? Because we're in a time of judgment, but I like to see it as liberation. The opposite of judgment is liberation. We're gonna be liberated. We don't even know what it looks like exactly. We're seeing a little bit of it. It is there in the world. In fact, if we were in that good vibration, we will see it more. It's not suddenly appeared. It's
Right.
just that when we have that certain kind of vibe or 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever, you only could see so much. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like some of us could feel spirit, we could see it, but we don't see it like in the physical.
Right.
But suddenly, if let's say in 2 years, maybe the evolution, and the veil keep dropping, and we start seeing more divine being in the physical, we'll be like, where you been? And they'll be like, we always been here.
That's
It's
right.
just that we didn't have that kind of, I guess, enough state to, and hear what you were talking about, looking from within. It's all about looking within. You know what's funny, Colleen? As you were speaking about the divine feminine, I kept hearing the masculine will start listening. Uh, I guess because they're looking from within at the feminine trait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people talking in the comments, so let's see what we could bring up.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I think the
Susan,
comment about, oh, go ahead. Okay, I think people are
what?
exploring.
Let me
Yeah,
know.
true.
Okay, I
Uh,
think people.
Shaw Woman at 824 is a good one too. So next,
You want me to go up there?
no, you could stick with Susan. That's fine. I think
Okay.
people are exploring their own spirituality, the feminine and masculine aspects of ourselves, and less about religious doctrine, which seems to separate the masculine. Yeah, that's a very good point. And for people that were raised with traditional Western religions, it's kind of shocking to see the lines blurred between those two energies. But I also think in traditional religion, and I'm just making generalities here, and I'm not judging other religions. It's fine for people to believe whatever they need to believe. But to present men and women as pretty much cardboard cutouts is not fair. It's all so much more rich than that. Men have a feminine side that is very, very rich. Females have a masculine side that is very, very rich. And to overlook the richness of both of those energies within a human being is just it's a loss. It's sad. Like we need all of that.
I think that's why we're having all the fluidity conversation. It doesn't mean that we're straight. Let's not even go with all the others. Guys could not wear pink or purple. You starting
Yeah.
to see straight guys wear pink or purple. They're wearing nail polish. Women been wearing pants for a while. So this idea how everything is, I think that's what the resistance is. But you know how it is. Before the changes, sometimes the chaos from both sides. Doesn't mean one is more closed minded than the other. Because sometimes you have one side that's like, you better do it this way, and the other side's like, no, I don't have to do it that way. So I feel like death, what card restore, it's about really letting go, like I said, what we don't know. We could visualize, but Spirit Guide telling me is you guys have no idea what a divine union is. You may have a touch of it, but once you're in it, it's going to be so awesome
Yeah.
because it's kind of like, you know, it's conceptual. We have a lot of concept about it, but
Mhm.
until we experience it, which is going to be very exciting. So Angela, she feels there's something in being lost in what we do here. I tried to cross over. She almost passed over a few years ago, and
Mhm.
they told me no, I couldn't. And I got pissed. I had to come back and then, okay, get on with it. So that's
Mm,
what I feel like a lot of people are feeling. I came to YouTube to find something to do, entertainment, and meet new friends.
mhm.
What else? She
Well,
said,
I'd like to go back to something that somebody said and refer also to Shaw Woman's comment at 824 and the last two comments. So
okay.
we had talked about, mistakes that we've made, and then Shaw Woman was saying COVID brought a lot of loss. That's true. A lot of people have been grieving and have lost a lot of people. And you uh was it Dance with Angela that almost crossed over?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these experiences of losing loved ones, of grieving, of feeling like you've made mistakes, of not knowing why you're here, not knowing why you've been left behind, why you've been made to turn back and stay on this plane. These, and you're going to really hate this, but these are opportunities to learn on your spiritual journey. It's
Yeah.
every single time you have some very difficult life lesson thrown in your face or life experience, it is a lesson. It is your opportunity that you signed up for to learn and to progress your soul along your spiritual path. And I know most people don't want to hear that, but just the fact that you're watching this video, you're ready to hear it. That's what you need to hear.
Yes.
The lessons that you learn, like I have made so many mistakes in my life. I mean, my first husband would pretty much should have been the same person as my dad. My second husband, not much better. And the things that I had to learn after my divorces were very painful. I had two little kids to raise, and I had to just kind of make my own way. I had no one to help me. My family was all on the West Coast and I was here on the East Coast, which was my choice. I did
Hmm.
that. I'm a very ambitious, stubborn person. But the lessons that I learned from that were difficult, but really important, really, really important for my soul's progression. And without learning those lessons, I wouldn't be able to help anybody. I would be a shitty tarot card reader. I would just I would just look at the cards and say what I had learned from the guidebook. I would have memorized the guidebook for every deck I ever bought, and I would have just spat out whatever the guidebook said. I would not have trusted my intuition. And I have good intuition and I have good connection with my guides, and the messages that I'm able to bring some people sometimes are pretty great. So, those lessons
No,
were really, really important.
I was wondering because we're talking about the divine masculine and divine feminine, and we know how we have both in us.
Yeah.
So I've noticed in a lot of like spiritual community, not all, there's a lot of men that go, but it tend to be mostly women because they're the
Yeah.
one who really tap in within.
Mhm.
And even though the men, it's a growing thing, but I'm wondering how, because we also had to go masculine, women, how have we been healing our divine masculine that's helping with the divine union? Anybody have any insight? Let us know.
Oh,
Because this
that's
is part of like revealing the union, the divine union. Because
cool.
ultimately, I think it is about our inner divine and both aspect in us.
Mhm.
And then that shows outwardly to us, you
Mhm.
know? And so that's why you were working through your husband. You were working on the relationship between the two. And a lot of us in here are always constantly working between the two. So anybody feeling anything to comment, let us know what you feel, what your intuition, not your mind. What is your intuition? What your spirit guide telling us? What do they want to share collectively? What is the divine union?
My
So I
brother.
would feel like we have to tap into our divine masculine actually right now. So I'm gonna pick some cards because you made a great point. The divine feminine, because it's very divine feminine right now, thank God. And it is making us tap from within. And what happened is the men are fighting it, so to speak. Not all men.
Not all,
Because
but yeah, I get it. Yeah.
you can have the female that's fighting that too.
Mhm.
Take care, Sherry. And so I feel like let's look at the divine masculine. That can be within us, not literally a man per se. So right now, what I'm seeing with the divine masculine, because the women or the feminine, I'm going to state feminine, masculine. The feminine are more easy. It's easier for them to go within. For the men, it's a little more challenging. They're a little slow at it. That's why, like when you go to all these meditation places, it tend to be a lot of females. Because they're stuck in their mind, the monkey mind with the five of sword, it's just that aspect. So I could see that as a woman with the divine masculine being like that, seeing where I don't want to tune in. I'm too much over here, I'm too much in my masculine. Um and the Queen of Pentacle and the Devil. So believe it or not, you know what I got from that? As a divine feminine, I gotta stop blaming the divine masculine.
Yeah.
Somehow, something like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense to me because as soon as anybody starts talking about this and then people around them see them changing in their lives, energies push back. And the ones that we feel push back the most is usually someone with a very strong masculine energy. Could be female person or could be a male person, but it's the person who can assert, because male energy is assertive, right? So they push back, they want you to go back in your box, stay in your lane, don't change, because now I have to change. If I see you change, then you are challenging me to change. And that's actually a way that people who identify more masculine can actually embrace this a little more. If they have a partner who is changing, then they have to step up and change too. So I see a lot of this where something has happened in the masculine person's life where they had a partner, or they saw it in maybe a mother, a sister, a cousin. They saw the change in them and they felt they had to step up and change too. But
Yeah.
then again, you see some people who just do it on their own. But my cards are funny. My cards are really funny. So what I'm seeing for the divine masculine is that they have to go in stages. I started out with the Princess of Pentacles and then the Queen of Cups. So they have to start young, right? They have to start with their young self and just
Hmm.
make it okay. They just have to make it okay. And pentacles are the body, the outward, the mundane, the muggle world, right? So they have to embrace the 3D and what they love about the 3D, and not just reject it, but just accept, okay, that's 3D, that's what that is. And then they have to see how their intuition works, because I got the Queen of Cups here in the 3D. If they work with their intuition in the 3D, and you notice a lot of very successful male psychics, they make it very businesslike. You know, they dress in suits and they have an audience, and they make it very, very structured and businesslike. It's a very masculine energy, right? But as they get older, as they mature, they lighten up, they get a little looser, they get a little more, they show their spots a little bit more. And in the middle of the spread, I got the 8 of swords. So they feel a little trapped if they don't break out of that 3D world. If they're not allowed to break out of that 3D world, if they are pretty strong in their intuition, it's limiting for them just being pentacles in the body in the 3D. And the last 2 cards that I got again, I can't believe this. 2 of Cups and the Lovers again. That they
Yeah.
just that they have to make peace with it. They have to come to a cooperation. But I do think for a lot of guys, I think it's much easier for them to step into this if they have someone that they can reflect off of. And it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It can be any person in their life that is also moving very swiftly towards the divine feminine and kind of carrying them along.
Yeah, I see. I mean, we have seen a lot of progress. A lot of us are over 30, 40 years old.
Mhm.
I mean, I was just telling Colleen behind the scene, like, it was kind of cool to see the progress each decade. Because I was coming from the 70s born,
Mhm.
and you were seeing better relationships between men and women,
Yeah.
and, interracial, and, LGBTQ and all that. Even though right now it's being a little challenged, that's why I feel like the divine feminine really coming in. So, let's see. I feel the union with all life and the cosmos from my cell, atom, fiber of my being expanding into everything. I imagine beautiful crystal face that drop and all the pieces fly off in all direction. We are the pieces struggling to return to our natural state of being, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Hmm.
Well, you know what it is? I I feel like we're not really all in pieces, but we have so many programming and we have the press. We were talking about earlier how men have to wear blue and women have to be this, this, this. And
Mhm.
really, we once we head into the 5D, we're going to be more relaxed. We're going to be feeling into things versus what the programming are. So I understand that.
Mhm. That
Here's,
cultural programming is very strong.
yeah. So just to continue into, before we end, she keeps getting the lovers and 2 of cups. For me, that's very promising.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool.
And
Very,
we
very
actually don't have to do anything. It's happening anyway. What I'm getting intuitively, there are groups out there that are praying for our enlightenment. There are people like even the spiritual community, like what all of us are doing, especially like what Colleen doing. It's just a happening. It's just like, you know, the collective does something and then people pick it up. It's like the 100 monkey thing. The
yeah.
100 monkey thing is like you have the monkey in one island, just in case some people don't know. They're in the other island, and they see something and they do something, and then the other island, the monkeys start doing that. So it's just kind of like an energy going on. So we're being reminded again, nurture the love vibe. And now what I'm getting, if without not only getting tuned in with our divine feminine, but our divine masculine, I've been getting to get a little more feminine. It does not mean I have to be all girly, but because women are very into their divine masculine, something about just getting a little more feminine will naturally help the masculine. It's kind of like that cause and effect thing or something like that.
Mhm,
Does that
mhm.
make sense?
Yeah, I think, well, and it kind of, if you, I mean, our first two chakras to me are, the root chakra is very male, but the sacral chakra, that's all female, the energy. And if you have your chakras out of alignment, then it's going to be hard to do anything. So, I mean, I always go back to that, but I think that women have been, gosh, it's so complicated to be raised in our society. I think that women already have a lot of their divine masculine developed. They've had to, because we have to work and we have to raise the kids. We
That's
have
true. That's
to,
a good point.
we have to, keep the house, and we have to birth the kids. And I mean, just we have to do so much stuff. And that's very masculine, having to do all of those tasks, those real true tasks. And yet we're the nurturing and the emotional backbone of most of the families that we're a part of. So we do both all the time. I don't think for most women that are somewhat in touch with their intuition and their emotions, I don't think it's a big stretch for them to develop that. But I do think that in society, the divine masculine, most men would say that we are trampling on it, and that's just ignorant. It's just ignorant. Nobody's trampling on anybody's masculinity or femininity. It's the people who are pushing back on this and trying to control us and trying to be uber macho, not just masculine, but uber macho, are not in touch with the divine masculine at all. In fact, they're rejecting the divine masculine because they're just embracing a kind of Neanderthal brute force attitude towards life, which means they're really denying their feminine, their divine feminine. They don't have any understanding of the grace and power of the divine masculine. And so probably these are a lot of people, and I'm making sweeping generalizations here, so please don't come after me in the comments, but people that probably don't love themselves enough, if at all. And at the beginning of our conversation, we were talking about love. You got to have enough love. You got to have that tank full of love so that you can love people and give love to people who maybe you might think don't deserve it. But you know what? The more you love on them, the more they finally come around and stop being assholes. So, that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, we got some interesting, a little bit of resistance in the comment, but we'll read it because we're going to clear the energy out. First of all, remember, we're in the visualization. We're not saying there's no challenges now,
Hmm.
but what we got to remember is what is possible. And it is actually happening in our world, but we don't see it enough because maybe could we I got to work on my energy, you know. But here, let's read what Child Woman said. That's why I can't get my head around the divine union because of the way men and women relate today. Women
Sorry.
are held to a high standard than men, treat differently. Differently. What was that? Differently. Differently. Not the same equity or equality. I guess something you said she wasn't resonating.
Mhm.
Fanny said a man is the planned caveman.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying this is not happening, you know, but here's the thing. Ooh, oh, that was your cat. I'm like, what
Yep.
is that?
Yeah. My cat likes to come on camera.
You know, the divine feminine are in the masculine, okay? They have to be in the defense mode. If you worry about the divine masculine or you're not seeing enough in the world, it's not that it's not true, because we know it's true. And I've been hearing a lot about like the men are saying women are trampling. Well, what's going to shift that? Remember, we are in a visualization right now. There's something going on in the planetary that will help people to be softer, and that's including with the men. Right now, we are in an Aquarian age. We are heading into the golden age. This spirituality will support the man to be more in tune. Okay?
It will.
That's what you got to see. A kitty tail. Yeah, that was Colleen.
Yeah.
So that's where we're gonna leave it with. We're gonna leave the video with. Keep nurturing and do things that you love. To do it, whatever that means, a little bit every day, because that's gonna help counteract everything that not about um, love. And divine union had to do with loving our not only ourselves but our divine masculine, divine feminine. That's including our not what do you call it? It's not about rejecting our not so great quality. It's about seeing it, knowing it's there, but still focusing on what you want to see instead. Is there a
Mm-hmm.
full moon today? There was a full moon today. Yeah.
Not
Shawoman.
today. No, it's in a couple days.
Was it?
Yeah. I have my thing right here.
Did that what made you bring that up, Dina? Were you feeling the moon? Oh,
It's on the 24th.
okay.
It's getting full. It's almost full.
Right.
But it's still I think it's still in Leo. I don't think it's gone into Virgo yet.
And when is your next revealing
This Sunday.
video?
This Sunday
This-
we're doing a meditation to help Ukraine.
So please, if you don't know about her, please subscribe to the Cool Crone
Thank
and
you.
be part of it. Could we all matter and all that? It sounds so cliche, but it's true.
Very true. And be
So
sure to
thank you for
subscribe
coming
to your
on, Colleen.
Mhm.
Thank you very much for coming on.
No, it was my pleasure. And I just want to say, and you guys, if anyone from my channel that is watching from my channel, be sure to come over to Sylvia's channel, Colorful Foresight, and subscribe, please.
So take care.
Thank you.